President Trump's proposed 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, initially set to take effect this week, they were delayed 30 days. But the ongoing threat of tariffs is weighing on farmers. And our next guest saying that the administration's proposals could be potentially devastating for the industry, especially amongst small farm owners. Joining us now, we want to bring on John Boyd Jr. He's the fourth generation farmer and founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association. John, it's great to have you back here on Yahoo Finance. Walk us through just the threat that you see, the potential here from President Trump, the tariff threats that he has certainly announced, and what was very much feared earlier this week, the impact that that's going to have on your industry.
Well, and I'm a fourth generation farmer, and if I live long enough to see a harvest this year, this would be my 82nd harvesting soybeans in this country. The proposed tariffs that the president is speaking about will have a devastating effect on America's soybean producers, such as myself. The last time President Trump imposed tariffs on China during his first presidency, the price of soybeans went from when he announced it, $16.80 a bushel, and all the way down to about $6 a bushel. And he had to create a marketing facilitation program to offset some of the losses for America's farmers. We had to wait for that. So those type of scenarios could really be devastating for America's soybean producers, many who have a very thin profit and margin, profit and loss there, and there's no room for error. The actual thought of tariff in this country scares a lot of people. So farmers need to know exactly what the president is going to do as far as tariffs in this country, and it's going to have, in my opinion, a devastating effect on America's farmers and consumers, because if you can't get goods and services in and out of this country, as far as it goes for food, there's going to be higher prices for America's consumers and local grocery stores around this country.
Yeah, John, thank you for explaining that. And I wonder if you can kind of operationalize for me and for our audience of listeners who may not be familiar with the ins and outs of farming in the United States, how these tariffs impact prices. Like, what does that read through like? And then what does a farmer have at their disposal in terms of tools for fighting back against these tariffs? Like, what kind of supply chain changes could farmers potentially be looking at to get around the worst of the financial impact of these tariffs?
And thank you so very, very much, because that's a very, very important question. Farmers are, like myself, either have storage facilities on their farm or they're cash and carry. I'm a cash and carry producer, which means I sell to local grain elevators. When those, last time the president imposed tariffs, those elevators stopped purchasing soybeans from America's farmers. So during harvest, you have to be able to harvest, get your crop in your combine and into your storage facilities. If not, you have to take them directly to a grain elevator for market price. When those elevators get full, all of those big tanks, and China stopped purchasing those soybeans, and that's what happened, the grain elevators are now full. So there's nowhere to take the soybeans to, and that makes the price plummet. And for those who don't understand, economics is price on demand. So there was no demand for it, and the price bottomed out. And China started looking to other countries such as Brazil to get soybeans and things of that nature. But when you can't get the products in and out again because of tariffs, those costs are passed on to the American consumer. I don't care how you break it down. And when you walk into your local grocery stores, you start paying more for fruits and vegetables and all of these things. So the tariffs, I hear what the president says, he wants to use them as a bargaining tool, but the ultimate factor and the first person in line that it affects are America's farmers.
John, given the fact that we could see potentially universal tariffs, a blanket tariff, does that then make the situation even worse for farmers and the ultimate impact that it's going to have on price, that we'll see prices spike even more so than we did see during the first administration?
I would believe so, and thank you for that question. Because this time, as you know, the president put a 30-day hold on Mexico Mexico, for people to understand, is the #1 purchaser of U.S. grown corn. So we're still a couple of things that we still do pretty good in this country, and we produce corn, wheat, and soybeans just about better than anybody in the world. And it's one of the last few things that the United States dominates as far as excellence. So
Yeah.
Mexico looks for that corn to, make their products that they eat there in Mexico. So when you put those tariffs in place, and again, it affects the #1 person in front line are America's corn producers. So a lot of times you don't hear about this. You hear about the after effects, which is the higher prices in the supermarket because of all that's going back and forth with the tariffs. Mexico raises theirs, China's raises their tariffs, and we get caught into that game. But the first person in the chain that gets hurt are America's farmers, and that's so I'm so glad that you guys are doing this segment. I'm able to try to share just a little bit of light on that.
Yeah.
And farmers are struggling. If you look at our organization standpoint, we're less than 1% of the nation's farmers. We're losing land. And when we get caught in these type of political fights, the bottom line is we lose more farmers and we lose land ownership in this country. And some of the other things that the president is imposing, all of the cuts on eliminating DEI also
Right.
is a devastating effect on the National Black Farmers Association.